Hello, I'm Jim Vaughn, co-founder of the RealHealth Companies. Today I'm here with Dr. Thomas J. Lewis, PhD medical scientist from MIT and Harvard School of Public Health, founder of the RealHealth Companies. RealHealth Innovations, a RealHealth company, provides disease management and wellness to corporations who self-fund their health care insurance. This topic is about setting realistic expectations for your wellness or disease management program. Many companies who implement a wellness or disease management program are disappointed with the long-term results. The main reason for the failure is the companies hired are looking for a quick fix to complex problems and really don't understand basic poor health and chronic disease root causes. Dr. Lewis will provide insights into wellness and chronic disease and create a vision for realistic expectations.
Thanks, Jim. Look at this slide here. This is a very simple health creation timeline. So we can't expect that someone who got into a chronic disease state can just reverse out of it with a simple pill and feel better. So when we look at this timeline going from inflamed red to healthy blue, in reasonably healthy people, this may be just 4 weeks. But in people that aren't as healthy, it may be 4 months or even a couple years. So we have to set those expectations based on chronic diseases take a long time to matriculate and they'll take a while to reverse. And those are the expensive diseases. So we're hardwired for instantaneous gratification. That's why the drug companies are so successful. And most of what's going on in medicine is reactive medicine, where we give the pill and you feel better. We're hardwired for this. So it's working fantastically in terms of an economic model, but not so much in a health creation model, and the wellness programs are bearing that out. So if we look at this next slide, which is really a curve of incidences of type 2 diabetes over the course of a lifetime in populations, we see that in our 20s we're only at 2%. But in our 60s we're at 20%. It took 40 years to go that 18%. This is the way chronic diseases slowly matriculate, gather, collect, and start degrading our health in our bodies.
So can you give us some insights into wellness and chronic disease and give us some vision for realistic expectations?
Sure, we'll do our best in that regard, but what this curve is all about is the green line, above the green line is someone who has symptoms. Below the green line, as we follow this curve, the yellow curve is our path to health or bad health, is this person feels perfectly fine. Okay, so how we're dealing with things in the medical world today is symptoms start emerging, and then we start dealing with them when we have a diagnosable case. And in many cases, that red arrow implies, okay, I've managed symptoms, but the disease is still getting worse. So if you look at it, the further up this Gaussian curve, this bell curve we go, the longer it's going to take to return a person to health. So what do we want for a model? It's as simple as this. We need to be able to measure risks and measure health much earlier on when the person still feels well, but hasn't, but has some risks, identify those and reverse those before the person erupts into symptoms. That's the proper way to create health.
So how do we do this? How do we get people and manage people down back to the black line and keep them as close to the black line as possible?
Well, it's always a challenge to stimulate people to health if they feel well, but most people don't. So let's look at this concept, how Real Health does this. Our underpinning is as simple as this metaphor. Let's say in 30 days, I'm going to offer you 2 options. 1, give you $1 million, end of 30 days. Or I'll give you 1 penny today, I'll start today, 2 pennies tomorrow, 4 the next day, and keep doubling that for the 30 days. Well, good money, Vegas odds will say I'll take the pennies because at the end of the 30 days you have $10.7 million.
I would have took the $1 million.
Yeah, well that's the pill, Jim. That's the $1 million cure that managed your symptoms. But this is the real cure. What does this metaphor really look at? Each day you eliminate a risk. So 30 risks if you have a severe disease over a period of time. It doesn't have to be 30 days, but you start eliminating risks. These risks don't just It's not just one little risk and then another little risk independent. They have a multiplicative effect, a factorial effect. So they work together symbiotically and synergistically. So when you've eliminated 30 risks, you've really created health. I'd like to show you another little chart, a little complex, but this is what a scientist does in terms of explaining the process. So this is how it looks graphically. So this is the pennies versus the dollars. If you think, if I do one thing, I'll start feeling better immediately, and I do another thing, I start feeling a little bit better. This shows that it takes a little time for those first risks to start working with the other risks you're eliminating, but then you see the harmony of all these risks being eliminated and your body getting better, working together. So this is how you can yield big results. And once again, if we look at the timeline, this is not a one-pill effect. This is a process effect. So this is how RealHealth implements this program. It's very simple, a personalized path to health. We have developed an online risk tool called the health, we call it the living profile, but it's an HRA, health risk assessment tool, where we measure an individual's risk in many aspects, like the pennies, in many aspects of root causes of risk that cause disease.
So what are we looking at right here?
Right, so we give you your own personalized health dashboard. Think about it, a car has a health warning dashboard. People don't. RealHealth provides you with a dashboard. So living health profile risk score. This person got a D. We give you a letter grade for how severe your risks are. And a D is someone with a pretty severe set of risks. So then we convert the risks into action. So every risk we understand we need to correct that risk. We correct it by creating an action plan. So here's your action plan to do. So this person has 13 that are provided to them. We hold some back for coaches and doctors that are more medically complex. But this person can slowly work on penny 1 and then penny 2 by slowly eliminating each risk and get on a path to getting well. So let's go a little organically as to what it looks like under the covers. So we simply clicked on our action plan and we revealed the actions that an individual has. So anything from understanding your immune system to food issues, to blood tests, to tooth loss. So they're assigned by the living profile. They take the living profile online, and they get their grade, and they get their action list. They're assigned. We can see this person has some of these actions that they consider in progress. They're working on it. They're going to see their dentist, for example. They've deferred some items because they're not so sure that they're appropriate to them or whatever. And they've completed actions. So their goal is just to continually, just like the pennies, to work through and complete each action. And they'll get healthier because they're removing risks.
So the ones that are assigned to the coach or the doctor, how do they get those action items assigned?
So yes, I stepped ahead for a second. So these are assigned to a coach or to a doctor, and through RealHealth Innovations, we will provide the coach and provide the doctor. But you don't need the doctor or the coach. This person has 13 actions that they can execute on their own to start the process of getting healthier. But some actions truly require a little advanced level of medical knowledge. There might be interactions, there may be conditions that go beyond simple into the more complex. So those are held back so that a health professional can work with them.
So after I meet with my coach, they give me those action items so I can work together with them?
This person had 13 published actions for themselves and a number of actions held back to the coach, and then some even held back to the doctor. The doctor can assign them down to the coach, and the coach can assign them down to the patient.
Okay.
Right. So I want to talk about what the benefits of the health creation program is. And there's a big myth out there that if I live a long time, I live a long and healthy time. But the facts, this is from National Geographic that looked at blue zones. And what they found is if you live to 80, you have 19 years of declining health. And so a really poor quality of health once you reach basically 60 years old. Whereas if you live to 100, you only have 9 years of declining health. Yes, your immune system is decaying, but it decays much more rapidly as we get older. But the whole idea is to stay healthy as long as possible. Think about it. If someone is 60 and they're only going to live to 80, they probably already have poor health, whereas someone who's going to live to 100 is probably very healthy. at 60.
Sure.
And that's the benefit of just knocking off risk, not taking pills, but getting to the root cause of what your health issues are.
Excellent.
So that's the Real Health Innovation Program, Jim. Very simple. It's a 1, 2, 3. It's measure risks, take actions, and in some cases we'll do blood work to measure how well you're doing along that path, and then it's a process of continuous improvement.
So after I'm done doing my risk assessment, I go through my action items, then I'd probably redo my living profile.
It's a dynamic.
And I'm trying to manage that score from a D or a C minus and manage it up to an A, because I want to be a straight A student.
That's it. Straight A student. It just means you have very little disease-causing risk in your life.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.